Welcome to Play PSVR2, the podcast. This is a special episode because we have Alex live at CES. I don't want to take any more time. I want to hear, what is it like there at the convention, Alex?
Yeah, Adam, let's see. Let's get it set up. Yeah, I'm here at CES. This is an amazing experience. I've been given a gift from PlayStation, but I'll tell you, I got to see Pixar's new movie, Cars 4, Gran Turismo. I'm super excited about that coming out for everybody. I want to watch that with everybody. I saw J-Brat himself, J-Brat VR. I saw him beat his Saber. It was incredible.
What color was it?
It was red, and then it turned purple. And then I saw a new taxi. It had billboards on the front of it, which, I mean, that's a thing Sony's doing. This is great. But best of all, you can see right here, this sleek design. Sony gave me the PSVR3 prototype, and I get to experience it. It's loaded with one game. This is the Turtle Head experience. I'm going to give it a shot here live. This is a world exclusive. Play PSVR2 coming at you with PSVR3, the Turtle Head experience. So they promised us a true immersive experience. Okay, here we go. Here we go. So this is unlike anything I've seen before. PSVR3 is coming at us with the triple sense, they said. So that there's a third sense that's coming, and it's all right. Yeah, everything's like brown, and I feel like I'm being squeezed, but there's a light, and I feel like the headset's squeezing me. I can smell things. It's getting lighter. I'm getting pushed. Okay, all right. What? Oh! Adam.
What a that's a pack-in title, right?
Oh, they said it's coming for free to every PSVR 3. So look forward to this, guys. Oh my goodness.
That sounds, the only thing that was missing is that you never got eaten. But has you gotten eaten? Dude, what a game. I feel like that sounds familiar. I love it. Turtle Head experience.
Turtle Head.
PS3 in what, 6 years? 7 years?
PSVR 3, they haven't told me. They didn't give me a PS6. I think it's like the Meta Pro or something like that. It's all here, baby. It's all here. And you can smell everything. This is incredible.
And that's not the only thing Sony gave us. They gave us a bunch of info to talk about on this episode. We're going to be talking about CES. We're going to be talking about the impressions, the news, the games. Listen, we got eye-tracking new features we got to talk about that have been unveiled. And then we've got a master debater, PSVR 1 launch, PSVR 2 launch. Which is better? You're going to find out, because we're going to go toe-to-toe, and only you can decide who is the real master debater. But before we hop into it, Alex, I've been waiting for you to get done getting flushed down the toilet, because I am thirsty. I am ready to drink. How about you?
I'm ready to drink too. I went and got a Gamer Juice. Of course, you know I always get the crappiest energy drink from the gas station, my Gamer Juice. If you can see that, it is Asho brand energy drink. This is blue raspberry.
Wait, what did you call me?
I didn't call you. This is the brand of energy drink I have, Asho.
You definitely bought it for that reason, right?
You know me too well, Adam. You know me too well. Blue raspberry, put it down the hatch. I need something to wash that taste out of my mouth. I feel like I can taste it. You know, you smell some things, you feel like you can taste it. It tastes brown, we have to make it taste blue.
Dude, it's a dingleberry stuck in your buck teeth right there.
It's haptic. We say it's haptic. Yeah.
It's a haptic berry. I got a Jelly Belly watermelon sparkling water. Doesn't that just sound awful?
That sounds great. I love Jelly Belly. I love watermelons. I love sparkling water.
What am I out here doing with my life? Oh, this is gonna suck.
What's it taste like, Adam?
Terrible. It's terrible. I literally just, dude, there's so many bubbles. We gotta keep going. There's too much to cover. Okay. I'm between a stroke and a freaking aspiration over here, but we can't stop. You like my shirt?
I love your shirt. That I want to know. I need you to wear that out in public and just tell me what the first person first thing somebody says to you about that shirt is, you
this
can't wear it near a
water
school.
smells so much like watermelon. It's literally like I just made love to a watermelon and I'm sitting here in my underwear, in my jocks. It is wild. It smells really good.
It goes with the picture because I believe that's a watermelon popsicle she's tasting right there.
Dang. Okay, this isn't that bad. Alex, I want to talk about PSVR though, because there's so much to cover. I'm gonna let you. You've been staying on top of CES better than me. So how about you introduce the first bit of news you want to bring up?
Yeah, right out of the gate. I mean, we knew Sony was going to talk about PSVR2 at CES. They announced that was one of their keynote speeches. They talked about a lot of stuff. They have a car they're making with Honda. They did a lot of movie stuff, which is cool. They're making a Gran Turismo movie, but the big thing, they revealed 2 games coming out. This is the big daddy. This is something super exciting. There was rumors of it. Gran Turismo 7 is a launch title for PSVR2. Gran Turismo 7, I don't know if you have ever played Gran Turismo, Adam. It came out on PlayStation 1, and it's like, it spawned my passion for cars. I don't have a huge passion for cars, but it made me enjoy cars in a way I never did before. Unlike most racing games, it was high on the simulation. Like, to start racing in the simulation mode, you have to pass a driver's test, get a driver's license. So you have to, like, prove that you can brake and stuff. Really, it's kind of a tutorial, but it's that level of simulation. The cars all have realistic weight specific to a car. With these more advanced consoles, like, all the interiors are realistic to the interior of the car. So the fact that this is in VR is incredible. This game was already out on the PlayStation 5. You know, GT Sport came out on PSVR 1. It was a bit hampered, right? Because GT Sport on PSVR 1, you couldn't do multiplayer. It was kind of like half a game. It really wasn't the Gran Turismo experience people are looking for. But this is Gran Turismo 7, the fully featured game on PSVR 2. You can virtually be inside over 400 cars. There's like 450 cars in the game. So ranging from, you know, rinky-dink Toyota Camrys all the way up to like Lamborghinis and stuff like that. You can see what it's like to be inside one of those cars. And similar to, you know, or things different from like GT Sport. GT Sport was on PS4. This is back when like PSVR 1 is kind of saddling between PS4 and PS4 Pros. So the PS4 Pro could probably handle GT Sport, but they needed the PS4 standard to be able to have like that same experience. So you couldn't get this fully featured experience. However, with PSVR 2, everybody's got a PS5. They don't get to hamper it to have it share across these different generations of consoles. So we're going to get that full experience of GT7 in PSVR. But the big thing I think about Gran Turismo 7, and this is a worry about PSVR 2 in general, is that Meta and Quest, they've taken over the market share of VR, right? So if somebody's making a game, they need to make it for the Quest first and then think about porting it over to something else, because that's where most of the money is. However, you know, through the pandemic, a lot of professional racers joined virtual racing leagues, and virtual car racing simulations got really, really popular. And so now that GT7 is the like penultimate car simulation, car enthusiast racing game out there, better than anything else out there. Now that that's on PSVR 2, it's an exclusive. You bet people are going to be buying. You know, there's these old dudes out there. They're retired. They got nothing to do. They spend a ton of money on a PlayStation 5, spend a ton of money on PSVR 2. They're going to be buying this to play Gran Turismo 7 in VR. And what that's going to do is broaden the install base and make people want to develop for PSVR 2 first, and then see about expanding that to, you know, PC VR and stuff like that. So I personally am super excited about Gran Turismo 7. I can't wait to sit in these cars and race, like have a real racing experience in Gran Turismo in VR, unhampered by technology. But I'm also very excited about the fact that this opens up a huge potential audience and user base for PSVR 2, so that other developers can do their weird experimental stuff and have that land to a large install base. Ultimately, just meaning we get more games, get better games, get better. The games that do get made are optimized better, just because that install base is there. But Adam, you're not a car guy. You're not a racing guy too much. You like Wipeout. Does Gran Turismo 7 move the needle for you at all?
So the thing is, I don't care that much, but the one thing I will say is this clearly is going to be a next level experience. I am thinking of what games can I put the headset on friends or family for a very quick experience that is going to blow them away. And, you know, Horizon may be really cool, but that's probably not going to blow you away immediately. A Switchback, if they're not in the horror games, they're going to be too big of weenies to try it. This is something that you give me 4 minutes and you'll get to sit in a Ferrari. You'll see a Ferrari. You are going to be driving down multiple courses that are real life courses. And I feel like that could have a tremendous impact on someone when you just have a few minutes and you want to show them a game. And then of course you could pass the headset around to different people. So normally it doesn't, but there isn't a wipeout. I like the aspect of it's very easy to pick up and play. I do wonder, I mean, clearly with just a racing game feels like you need to have steering wheels, especially something realistic. I don't know how these controllers are going to lend itself to an immersive experience, right? Like that's the one key piece that is missing, and they may have worked on it to where it's not a big deal at all. I'm probably going to wait for to I'm sure the reviews are going to be great. I may have to rely on you, which is awful because you like every game known to man, but wait to see what your experience is with it and then decide, okay, I'm going to drop $70 on this or 60.
Yeah, so I doubt. I mean, they probably will shoehorn something in there to use those controllers for the PlayStation VR. But I mean, this is a game you're going to play with the DualShock, right? And so that's another nice thing about this is like this is that comfort game you can play. You can sit down on the couch because that's like sitting in the car, put the headset on, and you're not really worried about tracking beyond just your your head having good tracking. And you can use the DualSense controller and use the analog sticks to drive, and it feels real nice and authentic. There's already steering wheel controllers out there that have like full force feedback. People say it costs like $300, but like it feels like you're driving a real car. You get pedals and stuff. I imagine people are going to be building just straight up Gran Turismo 7 rigs with like a seat and a steering wheel and gas pedals and brake and emergency brake and stuff like that, just with the PS5 and PSVR2. It's great that exists. The other nice thing is, this is something that you don't need wireless to get the full experience. You're going to be sitting down. You're not going to be moving around. That wire is just going to be sitting on the floor.
And that brings me to my next point. Patent pending your invention that will make the PSVR2 wireless with the PS5. I am going to take your invention, put it into my car. Boom. I'm now going to be playing Gran Turismo in my Saturn Vue, and it is going to be awesome. I will have the steering wheel. And they'll be like, what you doing, bud? You ain't moving. I'm like, yeah, I am. Oh, it's gonna be real nice, Alex. I hope. Are you almost done with the prototype?
I need to. The pandemic really affected supply chains. That's the issue, and so I'm waiting on a couple more parts to get this prototype off the ground and really bumping. So we'll have it ready. At the very least, you can put it in the passenger seat to give you that authentic passenger experience. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And then I won't even go into it. I was gonna make some little star and some maybe demonetizable jokes, but I'm not going there. But I'm joking. I'm just joking. Okay. Do you have anything else about Gran Turismo, or can we move on?
I mean, Gran Turismo speaks for itself. I'm just happy that they have another thing. Yeah, I mean, the other thing they mentioned was that they're going to have 30 games. They call it the launch window. So you know what that means. It's like, it's not going to be at launch. It's going to be approximately around launch. So there's more games to announce. There's like 23 confirmed games at launch. So that means there's about 7 games that we don't know about that are going to be coming out soon, right after the PSVR 2 launches. I'm hoping that's another big Sony heavy hitter. We all have Half-Life Alyx waiting in the wings.
Astrobot.
Of course, we're all hoping for an Astrobot to show this off.
Astrobot. Dude, what would you do if they waited to... I don't think they're going to do it. If they waited to the last moment and was like, and okay, Half-Life Alyx, we'll throw it in there. And then everyone went, it would be great.
It's such a big game and it's such an important game that it sells. So like if they could announce it today and it would be a bestseller tomorrow, right? It doesn't need the hype built up around it. It doesn't need a media machine getting it in front of you. It would
overshadow everything, right? So they may want to wait because then every other launch title is useless at that point and everyone is playing one single game.
That's a really good point. So yeah, if they, maybe in March, if Half-Life Alyx were like announced as coming out in March, then that would be a big deal. But you're right. You're competing for dollars. That's going to hurt Resident Evil 8. That's going to hurt all these smaller games like Light Brigade and Tentacular and stuff like that. And it's going to hurt GT7. So that could be a reason why mum's the word.
We have no actual belief that it actually is coming, right? Other than just people primarily wanting it to and having quote unquote rumors.
I mean, if anybody can make it happen, They can't put it on the Quest officially. You have to play through PSVR, so that's why it's not there, and it doesn't have the hardware to do it. Quest doesn't have the hardware. Even the Quest Pro doesn't have the hardware to do it. And so, but PlayStation 5 definitely has the power to pull off Half-Life Alyx, especially if they can optimize it for the hardware. You know, Sony has put their game, or not Sony, Valve has put their games on consoles before. You know, PS3 launched with the Half-Life Orange box with all those games and Portal and stuff like that. So it's not unheard of for this to happen. I wonder why we're not hearing more. And to me, it's like the silence is deafening in the sense that we're not hearing anything about it, which makes me think like something's being kept under wraps. I don't know. I hesitate. I don't want to get too hyped. I don't want to dwell on Half-Life Alyx too much because we got so much other stuff to be excited for. It's almost a blessing that it's like not happening at launch because, like you said, it's going to overshadow everything else. But we did.
Speaking of that, the next bit of news is something I'm really pumped for. Actually, why don't you go ahead, tell me what you've read and your impressions of it?
So there's not much to read, but Sony in that same conference announced that Beat Saber will be brought to PS5. Now this is a big deal because Beat Saber, the company behind that, I forget their name, they got purchased by Meta. So they are an in-house Meta developer, but Sony, I guess, shelled out the big bucks to put Beat Saber on the PlayStation 5. Now, I didn't care for Beat Saber that much. I mean, it was fine. It was fun. I got it. It's just there's other stuff I want to play in VR. But my question to you, Adam, is you said you're excited about this. What could they do with Beat Saber on the PS5 that will make it worth? I assume it's going to be a second purchase. I assume they're expecting people to buy this again, especially if Sony shelled out the big bucks to bring it here. What's going to make you pull that trigger again? Maybe drop $30 for Beat Saber one more time for the PS5.
Yeah, I thought we were talking about another piece of news, so I prematurely ejaculated my excitement. So
I do that.
That's right. So changing my philosophy and my excitement. Okay. This, I agree with you. I'm not as excited. At some point, Beat Saber for me is, I mean, it's still a very fine game, but I wonder the same thing. I mean, maybe there's some more haptics and stuff in the controller, but
that's a good point. Haptics would be a bit like the headset pulsing, and like if you're dodging around, the walls come by and you feel it like vibrate on this side as that wall's going by. That would be a really cool effect that you can't do on another system.
But I mean, I guess it would be kind of cool, but what does it really add? Like, it adds to something like hearing a bullet go by you and you're in the moment and you don't expect it, but to see a wall, I just don't think it lends itself to making Beat Saber great. Like, it was already a great game, but I'm not that excited for it on PSVR2 for that reason. I don't know what else they can expand upon, even with new technology. Like, the graphics doesn't matter. It already looked fine. It's not a graphical game. The new technology, I mean,
the tracking
rendering isn't really going to help, right? Haptics very minimally.
It's going to have better tracking, which is always an issue with PSVR 1. Multiplayer can be implemented. That's on other versions of Beat Saber. So now Beat Saber multiplayer, like for whatever reason you want to do that could be fun. The other thing is there's like the 360 mode, which I don't think PSVR 1 could do because you couldn't turn around, right? You had to face the camera. This way you could have that 360 Beat Saber where you're turning around and blocks are coming from all directions, which people seem to enjoy. Personally, that sounds kind of annoying to me, so I'm not too excited. Maybe this is what's going to make me want to play, but I'm glad that it's happening because it shows that Sony has their head on in the right direction of like what people want. Whether or not I like Beat Saber that much, this is like the game for VR, and Sony knew that, and they went out and got it, and it's happening for the PSVR2. So they know what they got to do to sell these units. I'm excited to see what they come up with to really utilize PS5 on Beat Saber. Hopefully this is like the go-to platform for Beat Saber, but because of the fact that there's going to be like, you won't be able to load up custom songs like you can do on PC and stuff, I have a feeling it's going to be a bit of a neutered experience. However, if like Sony can adapt their music library into Beat Saber in ways that other consoles couldn't, that would be a good selling point. But Adam, what was that game you were excited about? I'm sorry, I jumped the gun here. I wanted to know what were you
I don't think
for?
You jumped the gun. I think I did. We've got some news. I'm trying to look and see where we're coming from. It's later in the episode. It's about the eye tracking. But
okay, we'll get to that.
Yeah. I agree with Beat Saber. I think it needs to be there. It's important. but it does suck because I mean, I just bought this new headset. I Beat Saber is so far down the priority list. Like I can't think of a time. I don't know when I'm gonna play it. If I'm even gonna play it within, the launch window, unless I start getting bored of stuff. Like even the games I'm not super excited for, I would rather play Tentacular than Beat Saber. I would
Yeah.
rather play Firewall Ultra. I'd rather play Horizon. I'd rather play Resident Evil 8. I'd rather play Switchback. I mean, it is really far down the list. And then when I don't know, you're right. They need to have it. I'm glad they do, but I'm
But
not really that excited for it, I should say.
as you mentioned in this party scenario, right? You're throwing the headset on people. People have heard of Beat Saber, and if you're having people over to try this new PSVR2 and you want to wow them, maybe they never played Beat Saber 1, and you and I don't care about it because it happened on PSVR 1. We've already kind of seen what it's all about, but there's people who are going to experience it. They're going to think, wow, PSVR 2 is really something. Look at this cool game I can play, not really caring that it happened last generation. And if it's better tracking and smoother and stuff like that with the cool haptics, that's going to be a real gee whiz thing. So I think it could be like a good party game for sure.
In what world, though, is someone going to be like, wow, Beat Saber, but not get a more impressive reaction from Gran Turismo? Now
Because
that
because
the
well,
graphics are up to par and you've got the haptic feedback and it looks good and you pick your card, I cannot imagine a scenario unless someone gets motion sick where I would want to put them in Beat Saber instead of Gran Turismo.
I think because if anything, people have heard about Beat Saber. Like gamers who haven't played VR have at least heard about Beat Saber. It's a known thing that came out. It's like a runaway success, right? It's a poster child for VR in some aspects. So you could have people who've heard about VR and they want to try this Beat Saber thing, and you have the opportunity to show them. It would really suck if like you had people over to play VR, they heard about Beat Saber, and there's no way to do it because it's not on PSVR 2. So now that satisfies that criteria at the very least.
Color me yellow, Yolanda, because I'm not buying it. Next.
Yeah, next we're going to do a quick roundup here of the CES impressions. Of course, Adam was not able to go, and I only got to have impressions with PSVR 3. That was part of our agreement with Sony. Was I get to choose a headset? I'm going to play PSVR 2 in a month or two, so I wanted to go for PSVR 3. Give you guys that advanced impression, but. Handful of articles have come out. People have talked about their experience playing PSVR 2, which we had that a while back. It's nice to just hear another round of that, get you hyped up again. One article I read was from Android Authority. They said, you get what you pay for. The PSVR 2 feels much more like a high-end PCVR experience than the original PSVR ever did. And that's something I like reading. That's something I like hearing, is that the whole time PSVR was out, everybody was like, oh, well, on PC, it's better. On PC, this looks better. This game's better on PC. Now, the games might look better, at least for maybe a year or something like that. The games are going to be better on PSVR 2. And that's what I want to happen, especially at the price point of PSVR 2. I want people to feel justified, one, for having a PS5, and one for, two, for ponying out the money for a PSVR 2. Now we get to, be excited about all this awesome stuff we have, and nobody can poo-poo on our parade because we got the tracking, we got the headset, we got the comfort, we got the tech. It's all right there. This dude, Android Authority, he was gushing about it, which made me think felt like a bit like a puff piece. There wasn't too much bad to say. I did talk to our boy J-Brat. I'm not going to ruin whatever he's going to produce. He did mention something about tracking being a bit of an issue, which is unfortunate. He said that there was definitely some occlusion effect. So people that don't know that, this is where, the controllers had that inside out tracking. If the controller leaves the camera view of the headset, so that there's the cameras in the headset, if the controller's outside of that view, it's not going to be able to track it. I had this experience too, on when I played Quest 2, I played that boxing game, and if my hands were too close to my head, blocking, then it wouldn't be able to track it because it couldn't see the gloves, couldn't see the controllers. So it sounds like there's a bit of that. He was playing Horizon, pulling the bow back, and I guess it lost tracking of his hand if it went too far back. And then there was another guy, a YouTuber named Sadly Bradley. This is actually a really nice video. He didn't show footage. It was just him on a couch talking. He was rather muted in his response, which is weird. He was maybe the most negative preview or impression that I heard, but it somehow left me more hyped than the other ones. He complained about some things like the tracking being an issue, but Sony assured him that the issue with the tracking wasn't because of the technology. It was because at CES, every booth has their own Wi-Fi. Every booth is blasting Bluetooth signals everywhere. And anybody who's got like a TV blocking, messing up their Bluetooth signal will understand that that could be a serious issue. That's why it's happening at CES. Sony assured him that's not going to be the experience at home. And that makes sense. But the thing I really liked about what he said was that, again, this is a negative for him. The PSVR2 comes with earbuds, but when everybody did these impressions, they were wearing the Pulse headset. I like this because he said the Pulse headset was really good and he felt bad because people aren't going to have that. I purchased a Pulse headset with the PS5. It's nice, it sounds good, but the issue with the Pulse headset was you had, at least on PSVR1, you didn't get that 3D audio. For some reason, it couldn't do it. Sounds like Sony's wanting you to use this Pulse headset with the PSVR2, get the full experience, and I'm so glad I purchased it. Now I have a reason to have it because that's going to give me the full encompassed experience that Sony wants me to have. So it justifies that purchase. And I'm excited that, there's this interplay of technology they already have and technology they're releasing to make sure it's a fully fledged experience. But Adam, did you do any kind of reading of impressions? Do you have anything that's gotten you more hype, less hype? What's your takeaway with CES stuff so far?
Yeah, I don't really take other people's opinions in. I don't really care. I don't trust the people. Just like I don't trust their game reviews. I feel like most of them, there's always an agenda to get people to watch it or get more views or, be nice to Sony so that they get free stuff. I don't buy it. Not that I think what they're saying is necessarily wrong. I just don't trust it. We're only a month out. I just want to get it. I've already bought it. I've already pre-ordered it. I don't care, their experiences. If anything, I try to stay away from them. That way I have the ability to be more blown away. Now, hopefully, obviously, you also have the ability to be disappointed, but that's going to happen regardless of they experienced it and I read about it beforehand or not. So, yeah, no, I don't really care. Good for them. I hope they enjoyed it. Hope they bought it. I saw a lot of good things. Like the one person was like, "Oh, I did a demo and then I immediately pre-ordered one." And I hadn't before. Like, obviously, it made a strong impression. Again, that sounds like it could also be clickbaitish. Like, I don't know. So I don't really care. It would have been cool had we been able to go and actually see it. Then I would have cared, but we didn't. So I will be awaiting February 22nd, just there on my doorstep, like a little puppy, waiting to get adopted. Just waiting for my PS5 and VR2.
So there's a couple other details that I gleaned from reading articles. One was that the cord wasn't an issue. People are worried about the cord and the wirelessness of it. Somebody said the cord is maybe 15 feet long, which sounds crazy long. Won't be an issue. It's a solitary cord coming out of the headset going straight into it, and you don't really feel it, acknowledge it when you're playing VR, so that's good. One thing was in the Horizon game, somebody asked in one of the comments of these videos, is it on rails? And they said part of it is on rails, part of it's not on rails. And then the boss fights are on rails-ish. So when you're doing the boss fights, at least in this 30-minute demo people had, you couldn't move forward or backwards, but you could strafe left and right. And that was your kind of interaction with the bosses, which makes sense for this pseudo experience game that Sony's, providing. But in the end, everybody said hey, the headset looks great. The OLED screens with the 4K resolution, 120 hertz refresh rate, it's all great. It looks beautiful. It has, it's right up there with the best headsets that we have on PCVR, which is great to hear. And the other nice thing was it got me thinking the TV that I have that I play PS5 on is good, but it's not great. And I'm wondering if this might actually be a preferred way of playing just normal flat games. If they do that cinematic big screen mode, that's my 4K TV right there on my PSVR headset. So I'm looking forward to trying that out too. But Adam, we also had an article come out last week. Edge Magazine released their little piece on PSVR2. I don't know why it was so late, but they mentioned something really interesting. Eye tracking plays a bigger role than we thought. We thought it was just foveated rendering, but through the CES impressions and this article, they mentioned that eye tracking is used for menu navigation. So we kind of saw stuff like this on PSVR 1 where you move your head and there's a pointer that you're pointing while moving your head. But people are saying now you navigate the menu by just literally looking. You look at what you want to press and hit the button, and that is going to be your menu selection. I think that's really cool that eye tracking works as another method of input. But there's another big thing. Edge Magazine revealed in Switchback VR there's a level where you go into a room and it says don't blink, and you see these mannequins, and then when you blink and your eyes open again, the mannequins are repositioned. They're closer to you. They've changed position. That's incredible. That's that's something so exciting. I can't wait to see how this plays out in other games. Adam, have you seen it? Have you seen this happen in games before? I've seen it in a couple games, not with actual blinking, but in games where like you look away, look back, and things have moved. Did this get you hyped? This is what you were pumped about, right?
Yeah, dude. Like I said, I think this is one feature that people don't talk enough about, and that it's going to be a real game changer and change everything about the immersion of how you play the game, of how you enjoy the game. I've thought for so many times I've been playing games, and I've been like, man, if I could control the game in some small way with my eyes rather than having to like move buttons in my hand to select something or to play, it would be so much better. Because obviously your mind and your eyes move a lot faster than your hands and having to make the connections and crap. That is awesome. I didn't know that. But within the game, the blinking area is awesome. Like they did that in Switchback, or not Switchback, in Until Dawn, Rush of Blood. And they turned the lights out, went dark, and then it came back and all the mannequins were around. But to blink and it happen is just, it's incredible. Like think about the technology to where this thing is watching you. A blink is what? Have maybe a quarter of a second, and in that short time it recognizes that you blink, and then it changes the game dynamics to represent something new, and that blink, that fraction of a second is incredible. Yeah, I am pumped. I hope it's something every game uses that is made specifically for the PS5, especially the exclusives. Dude, yeah, I'm pumped. I
Here you go.
I swear,
Beat Saber.
because of the ease of accessibility and how easy it can be to experience it, I think Switchback really might be my first game I play.
What about Beat Saber if they had like a no look mode? So you get extra points if your eyes are looking over here while the blocks are coming, or you do a eyes closed mode or something like that. Like these are the kind of things that you could do. I know you're not excited about it, but I'm just trying to theorize ways they could use eye tracking in other games. One thought would be like, throwing in VR sucks. I hate it. But if you could use hand-eye coordination, so if I'm looking somewhere, they see where I'm looking, and then I throw it, it would make sure that like there's accuracy in my throw, as opposed to the limpy throws that we've seen in VR thus far. Like stuff like that is possible now because eye tracking actually works. I don't know. Can you spitball and think of any cool other methods of using eye tracking? Let's give them ideas, Adam.
Oh, I just really like the idea that even puzzle games, if you can control things with your eyes, that it's just going to be so cool. Even though it's not maybe going to enhance your ability to play the game, just to be able to sit back, I could be on my couch playing pocket pool, playing Tetris. That is incredible. I don't know if that would ever be possible, but holy crap, would that be cool? I mean, come on, man. That is just dope. And then, yeah, going through the navigation screens and like even Gran Turismo. Like, what happened if you didn't even need to have controllers to drive it? It just follows your eyes or something.
You just drive based on where you're looking.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. It would be like, I don't know what it would be like, but it's really neat. Or any type of sports games. It's possible, right? Like,
Yeah.
It really does. I just think it's going to change everything. It's going to be I'm real excited for that. Of course, I'm excited about all the technology, but that's the thing. And the fact that Switchback is incorporating it in a unique way gives me hope that others are also going to do that, or at least see the success of it, follow suit, and then, I don't know, Tentacular can use it, or the Cities VR. Like, I don't know, you pick a house and you look at where you want to place it, rather than having to pick the little squares geometrically and drop it or something like that.
Yeah, menu selection is going to be way better now. It was already kind of cool pointing at stuff and selecting it, but if I could use my eyes and press a button, total next level immersion there. Well, that's about it for our coverage of CES there. I gotta get out of here. I gotta use the bathroom. But we'll be back in the second segment with the master debater debating. I know you guys think it's a foregone conclusion, but I'm a wonderful debater. PSVR 1 versus PSVR 2 launch. Wait, you'll hear it after the break. I might change your mind, but don't lose that hype. We'll see you in just a bit.
We're back. Play PSVR2, the podcast. I've been called a master something this week, but it wasn't debater. So let's talk, Alex. PSVR1 versus PSVR2 launch lineup. You could argue both were star-studded, now, especially PSVR1 looking back. But the thing is, which one is better? And that's why I want to debate for you, because I truly believe PSVR2's is better, and it's not even over yet. But you're foolish enough to come at me. Now, am I the reigning champ? Am I I blanked. What was the guy's name? The true master debater, Scott?
Oh, Scott, yeah.
Scott. Yeah, I'm not Scott, but I am pretty close second, I think. So I'll give you the benefit. Do you want to make your first point, or do you want me to go first?
I can make my first point. Now, let's set some ground rules here for this debate. First of all, right off the bat, PSVR 2 hasn't come out. We don't know if it's going to be a great launch. We're super excited about it. We're excited about the technology. We're excited about Resident Evil 8 and these games that we know are about to hit, and they're going to be super pumped. Like, we're going to be pumped about it. But I do think there's a bit of hindsight in looking at the games that have come out on PSVR 1. That's why I decided to take the stance of PSVR 1 is going to have the better launch lineup. And I think there's a possibility that history will hold true to that. We're looking at launch lineup, launch window, so like games that came out at the launch or maybe like a month thereafter of PSVR 1. When all is told years down the road, which one is going to be the bigger deal? Which one had a bigger splash when it landed? So I'll be arguing that PSVR 1 did. So I'll go ahead and start off my first point right out of the gate. I think it's possible, reviewing the list of launch titles for PSVR 1, that PSVR 1 might have had a better launch lineup than PSVR 2 will. Now, I will grant you, Resident Evil 8 is coming out. You know, that's great. Gran Turismo 7 is coming out. That's great. But looking beyond those are games. Those are straight up games. You play them in flat. That's whatever. PSVR had games that we have grown to love, and we didn't realize how special they were going to be. Right out of the gate, Res Infinite. Res Infinite, we don't know if that's even going to be on PSVR 2. That's a heavy hitter right then and there. That's something you can't deny was one of the life-changing game for you and I to some degree. Other awesome games that we've grown to love, we're going to be lamenting. We lament already. Battlezone. We can't play that on PS5 right now. That's a game that had legs we didn't expect, and it withstood the test of time in a way that we didn't expect. What a great party game it ended up being. What a great multiplayer fun time, just blasting through in Battlezone, this weird environment, taking relatively simple game mechanics and just making it fun in VR to just go through and blast these things. But then there's a lot of variety in there. You know, a game like Thumper, which came out in flat, but VR, it showed you that VR can be adapted to a normal flat game and make it an entirely different experience in ways you never expected. Then, of course, things like PlayStation VR Worlds came out, where you could experience simple stuff like Ocean Descent, but also like, oh, how fun would it be to be a mobster in a VR game and shoot and have a shootout and car chasing? All this stuff had never really been done before in VR, and the PSVR 1 launch came out with all these games ready for you to try out, ready for you to enjoy, and it really cemented the fact that, oh, this isn't a gimmick. You know, 3DS, the 3D was a gimmick. A lot of the stuff that came out on PS5, the move controllers on PS3, that stuff was a gimmick. It didn't enhance the gameplay. But PSVR came out with these games, and it really sold you on the idea of VR. And although these games weren't 10 out of 10s, they weren't anything incredible, you know, I was skeptical of PSVR until I played Rush of Blood, and I saw there's the tracking. This is a game I want to play over and over again. I want to be in this. I want to do this over and over again. So although the numerical score and overall gameplay quality might not be as high for the PSVR 1 launch, the impact is there in a way that it's not going to be on PSVR 2, I believe. So that's my first point, making this better. The impact of the launch lineup is greater on PSVR 1.
I cannot believe you are such a fool that you would bring up the games, that you would willingly bring up the games that were between both of these. So other than the first 2 games that you mentioned, which I will admit were wonderful. Rest of the games, I was like, I could take it or leave it. An absolute awful way to start the argument. But you know what? It better for me because the PSVR 2 is all about 2, right? It's PSVR 2. So right here, we've got too many games, too much variety. There is 30 games. We could have a master debater on what game we want to play first. And it would be a dang good argument because there are so many games, 30 of them at least. You don't know where to start. And it's not everything like Light Brigade and Tentacular. There's some big old heavy hitters in this bad boy. And the variety is much more than the variety in PSVR 1. You got racing games, you've got RPGs, you've got puzzle games, simulation games, you've got horror games. Almost every aspect and genre of virtual reality video game that you want is covered in this launch lineup. And again, there's just so much we don't even know where to begin. And there's no way you can. On launch day for PSVR 2, I will argue that if you actually play the games to fulfillment, not like you who plays 2 freaking hours of a game and never touches it again, if you fully absorb the game and play it through, I would argue you almost have enough to get you through an entire calendar year. It is that packed of games and content on day 1. And we don't even have them all yet. So PSVR 2, too many games, too much variety.
So you brought up a good point there a little bit. That there's too many games with PSVR 2. However, I will say we're blowing that number away with the launch number of games on PSVR. So combining games that are getting a VR patch for PSVR 1 when it launched and the games that existed, we're looking at 38 VR games were ready at PSVR launch, and 11 more games had a patch applied. We're looking at about 50 games at launch for PSVR 1 as opposed to 30 games at launch for PSVR 2. So right there, numbers stacking up, PSVR 1 is winning. But my second point is really about the innovation. So you mentioned racing. We had that Drive Club VR. You mentioned RPG, and that's a bit squeamish, but we had things like Faded, the Silent Oath and stuff. Nothing huge and groundbreaking, but it just showed that it was possible. We had shooting games. But what PSVR 1 did was kind of set the standard and show you that VR worked for every game type. VR was possible for every game type. You want to know what it feels like to fly around. You had Eve Valkyrie. You had a game where you could fly around in space and it felt like you were flying around in space dogfighting. We didn't know how that was going to work in VR. Turns out it worked great. We had racing games like Drive Club. We thought it would probably be good. You play Drive Club VR, it's amazing. Mech multiplayer deathmatch combat games, everybody agrees now, Riggs was very underappreciated. A very stylish, effective game. People just didn't have their VR legs, but it showed that this is something we can do in VR. We can have multiplayer combat, first-person shooter type games in VR. But then it also opened the floor. Playroom VR came out with Astrobot thrown in there for free, and it was so groundbreaking that they were like, crap, we got to shift gears and make platformers now. That was something nobody anticipated, that, oh, you know what? These 3D games, these 3D platformers, third person, not first person, not, putting you in the position of somebody else, but just making a normal game with this VR diorama view, that is what's actually going to be a system seller. And the launch of the PSVR 1 is what set the standard for VR games in general across all the genres. So the innovation in that aspect, the variety of games that you had in that aspect, and the way that they went out there, they broke new ground, and they made you realize that VR is not just first-person games, not just racing games, but any game can be made better in VR. That's what the PSVR 1 launch did. And PSVR 2, although it's going to have all these games, it's not going to show you the power of VR. It's really just going to kick that can down the road, make you experience those same experiences again, a little bit better, but not really the true innovation we're looking for in VR, which is what PSVR 1 did at launch.
I can't even look you in the eye. Are you kidding me? PSVR 2, too much information, too much innovation. That's my next point. Listen, there is new news at every turn. We just keep learning more and more about this PSVR2. There are reviews, there are specs. It's wonderful. Every time you go to Reddit, there's something new. It is incredible. It's because there's so much to unpack. It has more backing by Sony, it has more backing by the mainstream media, and it is ready to blow up. And the innovation, I admit, PSVR 1 did innovate some things and break new ground. But the things PSVR 2 can do in terms of what we were just talking about, the eye tracking, the haptics, the better controllers, it redefines immersion and virtual reality, and it's going to leave us actually filling our drawers. Between games, I'm going to have to change a disc and I'm going to have to change my pants. So, look, we're talking about launch titles. There's 30 of them, but we only know 23. There's still games to be had. They didn't blow their load, Alex. It's a very constant stream of loadage. And I love that because you never know next week. I promise you, we're going to have news to talk about. And I'm sure from here until February 22nd, there's just so much info to unpack, so much innovation that's going to change the way that we play the game. In a year from now, when we look back on this Master Debater and you reflect on the bean that you're going to eat next week, we are going to be like, wow, I cannot believe you were just dumb enough to not only go against me, but then in this argument, I don't even know what to say. I mean, PSVR 2, too much information, too much innovation.
So I want to remind the listeners that the point of Master Debater is not, when you're voting on who you think won the Master Debater, it's not who you agree with the most in the sense that, yeah, you're excited about PSVR 2 more than you were excited about PSVR 1. It's who made the better points, who argued their points better. And that's what I'm doing here. The last point I'm going to make is two-pronged in a sense. PSVR 1 came out and it brought VR mainstream. Before then, it was an enthusiast thing, right? It was a niche product. People with advanced PC rigs could play these weird games in VR and do this weird stuff. But suddenly PSVR 1 came out and everybody could play VR. Everybody had a PlayStation 4 already. They could buy this new peripheral, plug it in, and play VR and do stuff that most gamers couldn't do. And it showed people that VR was the real deal. So it brought it mainstream. But really, what was brought mainstream by PSVR 1 at launch, I should mind you, is that at launch, Play PSVR, the podcast, was also launched. And that's not something you're going to have with Play PSVR 2. You're not going to get a launch of one of the premier podcasts in the podcast space. Play PSVR 2 already exists. The podcast already exists. The launch of PSVR 2 has nothing to do with that. So I contend the third point, maybe the most pivotal point, is that at the launch of PSVR was Play PSVR, the podcast. We're bringing that to you. You don't get that with the PSVR 2 launch.
Okay, so my last point is PSVR 2. Too much quality. That's what we're talking about here, Alex. Let's just think back about you played the 32X, right? Or you had one, or
I played it, yeah.
A 32X. It seems like every other Sony console, somewhat the launch flops. You know, some of the Ataris flop. What the big reason that games flop or console launches flop? It's because the games, there either weren't good enough games or there weren't enough games. We've already talked about how we have games. We've got butt tons. We have too many games. But now, not only do we have too many games, we have too high quality of games. I mean, look, it's just stupid, the games that we have coming out. Resident Evil 8, Horizon, Beat Saber, Switchback VR, No Man's Sky, Gran Turismo, Moss, and of course we can't forget Fantavision 2020X. The thing is, there are staples of not just virtual reality gaming, but of just straight up gaming. And for PlayStation in this launch title, the games are clearly better than what came out for PSVR 1, although we love them. The technology is better. The games are undeniably better. And along with price, the games are what make or break a launch and excite the people to buy the console, or in this case, the peripheral. And it is going to lead PSVR2 into a historic launch day. And you're just gonna have to sit back, enjoy your. I'm gonna guess. I think you're gonna get it. I think you're gonna get it easy. You're gonna get a dead fish next week. You're gonna enjoy your dead fish jelly bean, and there's nothing you can do about it because PSVR2 launch will be far superior to that of the PSVR1.
Adam, what game in the PSVR2 launch lineup is going to let me play a pregnant woman walking on the beach?
Oh, I'll have to look. Maybe it has a free upgrade. Who knows?
The thing is now that PSVR2 is launched, I mean, we're done with our points, right? So please leave a comment on YouTube or send us an email, whatever you want to do. We're going to tally up who you think made the better arguments here for this master debater. Because please don't make me eat another bean because I had a sandwich last time. So keep that in mind as well. I willingly jumped on this grenade, but I think I made some valid points. PSVR 1 broke some new ground. Everything that's happening on PSVR 2 is happening because it was done on PSVR 1 already, whereas nothing had been done before PSVR 1 in the VR space. So just remember that. But Adam, I think that's it for the master debater. You just kind of.
I think clearly I won that. I will say that the deck was stacked against you in that, you just had the worst product, but you're the one who chose it. I think I want Scott. It is time to bring him back on here, and I want to fight for the crown of the true master debater.
Yeah, we do need to bring him back on here. We got to find something for him to discuss. But I think we can find a reason. We need to get him back here and have him put his belt up for challenge. It's been a long time since he's defended his title.
That's the thing. These people win the master debater, and then they're a recluse for 9 months or a year, and I can't take the title from them. That's bullcrap. But the title I can take is probably the person who owns a podcast who has bought the least number of games on PSVR. But we're going to change that this week, aren't we?
Yes, Adam, I do want to know, did you play Fisherman's Tale? Did you get that as you promised you would?
I did. It's downloaded. I haven't played it yet, though.
Okay, well, that's good. You at least bought one game from the last sale. Adam, Sony has their holiday New Year's sales. It seems like they think of a reason to have sales every week. This is a new set of sales. There are games that were not on sale previously. There's some games I really enjoy that are on sale. So I'm going to use this as a chance to, champion those games. But Adam, let's get through this list. We got about 2.5 pages on psprices.com for the games that are on sale currently.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor, but I like to give them a shout out. We're using their software. A lot of these games are expiring January 19th, so you got a bit of time to lock these down. So let's start off. Adam, Moss, the first Moss, the PS5 PSVR2 version is on sale currently for $17.99.
We need to. I forgot. I'm sorry. Do you get an automatic free upgrade, or do you gotta buy? You gotta buy it again.
You gotta buy it. You gotta buy it. Yeah.
Yeah. So don't buy this. That would be foolish. You would essentially be just throwing money down the toilet.
All right. What about Moss Book 2 for $26.99?
Again, if you're gonna have to buy it again, why play anything?
If you didn't already own it, I don't already own it, right?
I mean, I don't own it either. I thought you told me you had to buy it again.
You have to buy it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is the PSVR 2 version for $26.99.
Oh, F me. I thought you were F. Okay, what percent is it on sale?
I think it's like a 10% discount.
It could be a 69% discount. I'm not playing it until at least March because I'm going to be playing Horizon and Resident Evil and Switchback and No Man's Sky, and I could go on and on. I ain't playing it.
How about Lethal VR for $249?
No, I would rather shoot a Red Ryder BB gun than play that crap.
All right. What about NBA 2K VR experience for $749?
Listen, they could make NBA 2K69 and I still wouldn't play it. I'm not playing it. No.
What about No Heroes Allowed VR for $14.99?
Oh, too bad I'm a hero, so I guess I can't enter.
The ever-present Dragon Ride VR $2.99.
Ryder? I hardly know her. Pass.
What about Doom 3 VR edition for $7.99?
I played this. I didn't like it. Right? This is the one that I was like, or wait, Doom 3.
It's Doom 3 VR. Yeah, you didn't like it. It's got aim
it
support.
sucked. It was hard to look at. The game just sucked. Maybe it sucked back then too. I don't know. Save your time. You're in the twilight years. Play Doom VFR. By far the superior Doom in the VR catalog.
Shooty Fruity for $5.99.
No, complete waste of time. Game sucked.
Gorn for $9.99.
I don't know why everyone liked it at launch or they lost their mind. No, don't play this. It's, again, a waste of time. Save your time, save your money. We got enough coming up. Buy Light Brigade or one of the games for upgrades.
Doom VFR for $3.74.
Tap that hard. It's a great game. Speed run, really fast, dynamic, really fun to play. Aim controller works great. Collectibles, multiple replay value. Now, obviously, you won't be able to once you have a PSVR2, but man, good game. It's worth $4.
DualShock works great on it too. Move controllers are weird, but you get used to them. It works.
You always try to one up me. It's just well, wait, but you know, Virtual Boy, it works well in Virtual Boy too.
Vertigo Home for $5.19.
Oh, what? $5?
Vertigo Home for $5.19.
In what world can you get Doom VFR for $4 and Vertigo Home for $5 and you actually take the deal? None. No world. Go to Saturn if you want to do that crap.
Carnival Games VR for $4.99.
I know you're a carny. You probably make out with a carny. I'm not one. I'm moving. Next.
Puzzling Places monthly pack number 7, $3.49. This will also be on PSVR 2, by the way. It's an expansion pack for Puzzling Places, apparently. So maybe we can skip that one. You just laughed. Okay, Astrobot Rescue Mission for $9.99.
Oh yeah, gosh. I mean, if you haven't played it, you have to, and now's the time. You're not going to be able to probably play it in PSVR 2. I doubt. I don't know. Maybe they'll convert it, but you gotta play it, Alex. You gotta finish it. I know you won't, but you should.
VR Ping Pong $2.99.
This is just like effing Mervils. No, anything with the word ping in it, don't buy. Whether it's a person or a game.
What about pinging Cindy Aram VR? Would you get that?
Yeah, that is, I forgot what they call it in English, but yeah, there's an ing at the end. Yeah.
Okay. A gerund is the word you're looking for. Telefrag VR $3.39.
I would actually rather it be ponging. Anyhow, what game?
Telefrag VR for $3.39.
No, not enough people play this.
Sports Bar VR for $3.74.
Just go to a bar. Football season, playoffs are about ready to start. Go to a bar.
Cave Digger $7.49.
I would say no. Buy Cave Digger 2.
Good point. Yeah. The Galactic Collection. So this is detached and Telefrag VR for $8.74.
I almost can't think of a worse bundle.
I love detached, but okay. Drone Striker for $3.99.
Way worse. I'm really trying to think of a bundle that I would rather play less. I can't think. That bundle was so bad. I'm not even gonna answer this. Oh my god.
The Guy VR for $4.19.
No.
Star Wars Pinball VR for $16.74.
What?
Star Wars Pinball VR for $16.74.
Ooh, no. It's like if you bought Ponging Cindy Aram and then you had to hurry up and downloaded it and it ended up being like Ponging Bill Crosby or something. Like, no.
Bill Crosby. All right. You got Bing Crosby. You were close. O-Shape Electro Party for $2.74. No. This is that game where like a block's coming at you. You got to make the shape of the block so you can fit through it.
See, a great game with for eye tracking to be able to. I wish.
It will be on PS5 apparently. $2.79.
No.
Res Infinite for $8.99. However, on Amazon apparently it's $100.
What? I don't even understand what you just said. Listen, This is just a one in a lifetime experience. You have to. You have to. If you do nothing, do it for me, man. Like, just go straight into Area X, change your life. What better way to hype yourself up, prepare your soul for PSVR2 than Area X?
Hustle Kings VR for $9.99. It's that pool
Mm,
game.
oh gosh. No, go to the actual pool.
You missed the point, Adam. Honor and Duty Arcade Edition, $2.09.
I don't know what joke that would have been, but listen, anything to do with an arcade is going to be a waste of your time. I'm just going to be honest with you. This is a waste of your time. Move on.
Box VR, $8.99.
Did you know box was a noun for a piece of a female anatomy?
Yeah, I did. The thing about Box VR is everywhere else you play it, it's a subscription game. I think this might be the last place you can buy it just wholesale and have it. So if you are interested in Box VR, it works pretty well. It's like Beat Saber at your punching. $8.99 is not a bad price considering the alternatives are a subscription model for other sets. Gravitational for $14.99.
I don't even know what this game is. I like gravity. I'm staying on the ground.
Carnival Games VR Alley Adventure, $3.99.
Dude, I told you, I'm not a carny. If I want to wait in lines, I'll go to Universal Studios.
Chess Ultra Academy Game Pack, $2.09.
No. The only way this could be less appealing is if it were with that detached bundle. That's the only way.
PlayStation VR Worlds for $5.99.
I mean, no, this is just, you were talking about it's a launch title for the PSVR. What's it even doing on the store anymore? Don't play it.
Should have been free at launch. Should still be free. Star Bear Taxi for $2.74.
The thing is, my biggest complaint with the PSVR is that Batman VR was never free. What the F is up with that?
It was on PlayStation Plus at one point.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, that's how I got it.
Oh, well, I have PlayStation. I guess I missed it. Okay, then never mind. I rebuke my previous statement. Star Bear Taxi, I know you're going to say, boy, I'm a big old man. I love it. But listen, your time is valuable. You're going to be spending days in virtual reality coming in February. Spend time with family now so you can neglect them in the future.
The Assembly for $7.49.
A real cool name, but I don't think I'm going to buy this.
Zing, The Land Beyond for $5.99.
Well, if you want to cry like Alex, I would prefer to not. I'm not playing this. It looks boring.
I love it. That's a great price. I love it. Swordsman VR, $13.99.
VR2 upgrade, right?
It's like unconfirmed, but it feels very likely that it will. I think there might be like a purchasable upgrade. I think that's what people are thinking is going to happen.
What price?
$13.99 right now.
I would have really liked that $10 mark. Because I actually already have the game, and it's not great.
Do you? I think you're thinking of Shadow Legend VR.
No, I'm pretty sure I have Swordsman. I say no. I can't recommend this.
All right, Job Simulator, $12.99.
No.
Guns and Stories Bulletproof VR, $3.99.
Listen, I play Sunset Riders. That's the only Western I play other than the 2019 Game of the Year, Cold Iron.
I'm Hungry for $6.79.
Hungry hippos. Unless you're actually going to put something in my mouth, I'm not playing that.
All right. O-Shape Caravan Palace Music Pack for $5.59. Like an expansion pack, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Wolfenstein Cyber Pilot, $4.99.
Not a bad game. That's a good price. If you don't have anything else to play and you want to play VR and you really don't want to replay anything, that's probably worth a buy.
Everybody's Golf VR for $14.99.
Dang, they got some hotties up in there. But we need multiplayer and we need it on PSVR 2. I don't really think it's worth your time.
We need those caddies to know where we're looking, right? Intruders Hide and Seek, $1.99.
Dang, that's a good game. $1.99?
$1.99.
F me raw. Yeah, you got to play that. That's a good game. Good horror game, stealth, very high quality.
Sharknado VR Eye of the Storm 159.
169, you had me. I'm not paying 159.
Layers of Fear VR 999.
No.
Blair Witch VR Deluxe Edition 1749.
I honestly didn't play it, but if you're paying $20 for a VR game nowadays, you should feel ashamed.
Fracked for 1349.
Frack, no.
Walking Dead Saints and Sinners 1599.
I still haven't played it, but I'm going to wait for PSVR2, baby.
I think you got to. If you're looking at PSVR2, I think you need to wait, see if it's a free
that
upgrade.
was another lineup game I missed. See, too many games, too much quality.
Chess Ultra Imperial Chess Set 349.
No.
Puzzling Places Monthly Pack number 8 349.
No.
Deracine 999.
You probably cried and you probably liked it. I ain't playing it.
It's in the Bloodborne universe. That's what's weird about it. Oh Shape for 1399. So this is the actual game.
No.
Star Wars Squadrons 599.
That's a good price, but I just don't know what's going to happen with it with VR2 coming out.
Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim VR 1499.
No.
Chess Ultra 454.
If you mention one more chess thing, I'm going to slap you over the face with my pawn.
Coaster for 224. Just keep it in, Adam. Keep it in.
I want to re-say that joke, but I won't. No, don't buy it.
Farpoint 999.
If you don't have it already, you have it already. Let's not play around.
Yeah. Skyworld 299.
Where's Windworld or Earthworld or Fireworld?
Wild Turkey Hunter VR 399.
You know, I actually played this, and it was as stupid as it sounds.
Mask Maker 499.
I don't know what this is.
People like this game. I've not played it. I think I might need to pull the trigger at that price just so I can say I've played it a bit. I'm interested in it, so I think it's probably a good price to test the waters with. It'll kill this last month, I think. Unearthing Mars $5.99.
Unearthing Mars, no.
Psychonauts Rhombus of Ruin $5.99.
No.
Football Nation VR Tournament 2018 $1.49.
Heck no.
Concrete Genie $14.99.
It's free, so don't buy it. Well, if you're a PlayStation Plus member.
Yeah. Firewall 0 Hour $7.99.
Save up for Firewall Ultra. That should be the first game we play.
Ninja Legends 1874.
Trust me. My reputation exceeds me, or whatever that phrase is.
Mortal Blitz $5.99.
Big old boobies, big old no.
Game of the Sale Stunt Cat Masters VR $1.99.
Oh, the thing is, the only way this could be less attractive if it were in the detached bundle for $14.99 or whatever the heck that stupid price was.
If it was possible for people to use the $2 I sent them via PayPal, I would offer to send people $2 to buy this game, but it's not going to happen. Immortal Legacy: The Jade Cipher $9.99.
No.
Fracked Deluxe Edition $13.99.
Why are you bringing this up?
I'm sorry. Mortal Blitz Combat Arena Standard Edition $9.99.
Big boobs, big no.
Table of Tales: The Crooked Crown $5.99.
Oh, that hurts. That's a good game. That's a game worthy of your last month with VR. It really is. It's quality.
Fuji E 824.
I don't even know what you just said. Fuji Apple.
Fuji, yeah. Cave Digger 2 Dig Harder $17.49 with a not really confirmed but optimistic outlook of a PS5 upgrade.
I still like this at like $12. $18 still seems steep. But if you buy it, Alex, we could play together on PSVR 2.
I think that's a good selling point. We have Bravo Team for $9.99.
No, please don't buy that.
We're almost done, Adam. Don't worry. Persona 5 Dancing in the Starlight $8.99.
Good music, but I just can't see me spending time for this.
Art Pulse $6.49.
No.
The Exorcist Legion $4.89.
No, the game's no.
That's episode 1 of the whole series. Detached for $6.24.
Why don't you just save your money and buy that worthless bundle, you loser?
The Exorcist Legion VR Complete Series $20.99.
Wow, again, if you spend $20, you should be ashamed. The game isn't nearly that good.
Fisherman's Tale Deluxe Edition 3.
Yeah, I think you should. I haven't played it yet, but I'm excited to jump in.
Trickster VR for 824.
No, game isn't. It's just not very good.
Bloody Zombies for 374.
Heck no.
Separation for 649.
I'll separate something for you.
This game's good. I bought it. Mega Dimension Neptunia V2R 599.
Nope.
Mars Alive 679.
Mars could be dead for all I care because I ain't playing it.
Here's the last one, Adam. You're off the hook. 2MD VR Football Head-to-Head Edition 389.
Oof, no, because PSVR2 is coming. Yeah, you just can't do it, folks. I'm sorry.
All right, and that ends it for the sales. Adam, thank you for poo-pooing all the games that people could probably buy and enjoy if they get a PSVR 1 headset for cheap soon. I don't have any grievances to air, Adam, so I'm just going to take us out. You got any last words?
Listen, I love you guys. Because I know you're going to comment or you are going to send an email to contact@playpsvr.com or go to our website or somehow reach us to tell me that I did better than Alex and you're going to force him to eat a bean. I just want to thank you for that in advance.
Yeah. Thank you, listeners, for siding with Adam for the easy win. Anyways, thank you for listening to Play PSVR2, the podcast. It's not going to be much longer, guys. We got 1 month and some change. We'll be here with you every step of the way. We will hold your hand. We will hold your feet. Honestly, we'll hold whatever you put in our hands as long as you keep us around. So we need you to subscribe to us on YouTube. The channel is Gaming is in Session. Review us on iTunes. We love reading those. We'll give you a shout out on the podcast. It helps us get more listeners, which means better content for you. Send us an email, contact@playpsvr.com. Rate us, berate us, let us know all the dirty thoughts you're having about us after you've seen us on YouTube. But most of all, keep your mom in the loop so she knows what's going on with us, what's going on with PSVR2. She needs to be up to date. For Adam, I'm Alex. Thank you for listening to Play PSVR2, the podcast, where virtual reality is our reality.